Good evening. Welcome to Question Your Perception Reality 2.0. I am your host, Bill Godin, and we're coming to you live on YouTube this evening. I'm joined in the studio by the one, the only, the engineer. How are you today, sir?
Oh, I've had better days.
Are you going to recount a sexually disappointing, thing?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good.
Oh, okay.
There. I'm good there.
Okay, well, I know there could be I'm sure, a whole show in itself, but I won't go into any detail of why you've had better days.
That's right. It's not pertinent to today's news.
That's right. So today's news, that's today's topic, today's news, and we are just jam-packed with news, although none of it any good from the looks of it.
What do you mean good? I mean, E.T.'s coming. How could that be bad?
E.T. is coming, and if E.T. is not coming, well, in the words of a Canadian astronaut, if you believe E.T. is coming, you're an idiot.
So me stockpiling up on Reese's Pieces is just stupid?
It might be a little stupid, and it will definitely explain the shortages in the stores.
Granted. All right.
Astronaut Hatfield of the Canadian Astronomical Society, or the astronauts that... I'm not sure... Does Canada even have any astronauts that go up into space?
Well, they tag along, sure.
Oh, do they? Okay,
yeah.
I wasn't even sure. I mean, I saw that when it said an astronaut from Canada, and I'm thinking, sure, right. He just moved north because of COVID.
Just like when you say the Canadian military.
Right.
Right. We're like, oh, we know what that is. They got 2 planes and a rowboat, and they're like, oh, our Navy's, in the shop at the moment.
In the shop.
Look, Canadian brothers, we love you, but,
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, the astronaut Hatfield, he made this statement on May 25th, I believe, and it was pretty much picked up. It went viral that if you believe E.T. is here, if you believe extraterrestrial life is here on Earth, you are an idiot. That being said, even he admitted that there is a lot of stuff going up in the sky right now that even he doesn't understand. He has no clue. But he doesn't think that we should make the leap in logic that we don't understand something right to intelligent life is down here looking at us.
All right, well, let's just war game a second here. All right, if E.T. was here, is E.T. violent or friendly? Chances are not friendly. Just saying.
Even the most friendly of us humans aren't that friendly.
We're not that friendly
right.
either. Yeah, I get that.
And I mean, there's a whole aspect of science called the zoo effect, and that's we would not be able to just observe a set but we would actually affect what's going on. So that's,
Right.
I mean,
I mean, this ain't Star Trek, right?
right.
We don't have any. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's like invisible force fields where a whole bunch of aliens are hanging out. I don't know.
I've seen Avengers. I know it's real.
Oh, okay.
Right. The whole Wakanda thing.
Oh, Wakanda, right?
Right. Wakanda forever. Well, in any case, a large group of UFO sightings have been now declassified by the military. I guess they don't think it's anything. I don't know why you would declassify this, but they show a lot of videos of what look like Tic Tacs flying through space, and I don't really know why that's pertinent, but it is, and everybody's going goo goo gaga, and we're looking for UFOs all over the place. Listen, in third grade, okay, and I'm dating myself here a little bit, but we're talking early to mid 80s. I created a UFO group for me and 4 of my friends. That was the limit of my UFO experience.
All right. I mean, yeah.
I believe UFOs could be real. I believe aliens could be real. I don't think they're here. I think it's China screwing with us. I think it's the Soviet Union screwing with us. I think it's Kazakhstan screwing with us. Somebody is screwing with us.
Okay. I mean, I'm down with that explanation, but what would I say? The amount of people not freaking the fuck out is quite inspirational. I think, because if say in the 90s, even like, yeah, we'll say back in the 90s, if there was this whole like, hey, we got UFOs all over the goddamn place here, everybody would freak the fuck out. But in 2020, 2021, it's like, look, dude, we got bigger problems.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're too worried about this whole COVID thing going on, and whether or not it was leaked from a lab, intentionally on purpose. And
well, that's a real big chestnut right there to uncrack.
Oh, jeez.
Like, seriously, from the beginning to the end, the hey, that's retarded. If you talk about that, you're retarded too.
If you're talking about that,
you're plausible.
It's right. If you're talking about that, you're censored. They would pull you. I had several videos. I had several pieces that I wrote pulled off of Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, regarding the lab leak thing. Do you have a big enough of a blowtorch, sir?
Not really.
Okay. I had several pieces pulled off the major platforms for saying that the lab leak was a plausible thing, and now it turns out the guy who said it all along that there's no way this could have happened is saying, you know what, hey, it's totally not out of the realm of possibility here. And of course then they leaked 3,800 of his emails or something like that. I was waiting for that.
What is it with leaked emails? I mean, everybody talks shit until their emails are out in the open. They're like, all right, you got me.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Seriously.
At this point in 2021,
Why?
who the hell is still doing emails?
Yeah, why are you putting anything important in an email? I don't know, but yeah.
That's
get
just,
that shit.
I mean, that's just stupid. I mean, look where it got Hillary Clinton. Oh, but no, she's still fine. She killed her. Everybody else is dead, but she's fine.
You gonna segue to Epstein? Oh, that was not.
No,
I'm just saying, like, what are we talking about? There's too much to talk about.
Okay.
Too much.
Well, I did get a meme today sent to
yeah?
me that said, "I'm just getting ahead of this thing, and I'm going to tell you that the Fauci didn't kill himself."
Fauci didn't kill himself. That's good. I like that.
I like that too. I immediately gave that a thumbs up. I thought that was very funny. No, very possible, I suppose.
I called Epstein 2 weeks before he got killed. I was surprised you lived that long.
2 weeks?
Yeah, he was in jail. I'm like, oh, that guy's getting like murdered tomorrow.
They were trying to figure out how to make the cameras go haywire, dude.
Yeah, they were trying to figure out all the logistics, but his days were numbered, no doubt.
And it was, the government was behind it because it took 2 weeks to do nothing.
Well, that's like, well, who is the government at that point? I mean, people who used to be in power, people that are in power, people that are in, like, I mean, you're talking Bezos and Gates are in this whole thing. Like, everybody had their piece,
absolutely
had their fun at the pedophile island, apparently.
Except Biden, he was in his bunker.
Biden had his own children to molest in his bunker.
Oh wait,
He
yeah,
didn't have to go anywhere. He had them imported.
we
Oh, I probably shouldn't say that.
no,
I suspect he had them imported.
right.
He's back to sniffing kids, by the way.
I did see that.
That's really amazing.
And referring to 9-year-olds as 19-year-olds, and you can see they look like little ladies with their legs crossed. I'm just saying, this guy's whacked out. Although I did see a very cool thing about Biden. I'll have to find it and I'll have to read it because it's hysterical. But segueing over to Biden and the executive branch of office.
Love those guys.
I said no one ever.
I just did.
Oh, wait. 80 million people. They all voted for him.
They voted against somebody. They didn't vote for him, from what I can gather. Which
yeah.
is fine, but
I guess.
nobody was happy that. Dude, he went on a show and said, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. How the fuck do
you get elected?
That's just crazy. I was blown away, really.
Yeah. Well, they issued a press statement about 3 hours ago, that said they were not forming an executive commission on the January 6th insurrection. You know, the deadly insurrection that killed 5 Americans.
Well, I mean, it's a tragic that 5 people lost their lives, but
okay, yeah.
If we're in context with the rioting, like, don't forget the context where we were in 2020. That whole thing was lit from what, like March on, was just riots on top of riots on top of people throwing like makeshift bombs and like Molotov cocktails and shooting into crowds and AK-47s out of trunks. Like, it was fucking crazy. And that was only from the left, and then the right just decides to, for some stupid reason, they decide to jump on the bandwagon and get crucified by the media. Because you notice how mostly peaceful but mostly fiery.
Absolutely.
Right? So you're never going to get the media on your side for anything. And a lot of these guys just thought they were doing the right thing. I don't know how. But breaking into people's offices and taking selfies.
Okay. Again,
if it's an insurrection, you bring bullets and you shoot everybody.
Right.
And you make a statement and you take your licks, whatever that is, and you don't bitch about it when you're in prison if you get caught or if you get killed or your brother gets killed. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. Don't half-ass it.
Well, they did it, and they did it mostly peacefully because they didn't bring guns. Okay. The 5 people that died. Okay?
I wouldn't have gone in there without like shooting the place up. I'm not saying
I was
no
saying
violence.
Don't condone the violence.
I'm not condoning violence. I'm just explaining that that's not an insurrection.
Right. This it's been termed an insurrection
for political purposes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What it was
it was stupid. That's
what it
was.
It was actually absolutely dumb. But it wasn't an insurrection as far as what an insurrection actually is.
Right. No, there was no plan to take over anything in any means by any, like, they didn't kidnap anybody and hold anybody for ransom and make demands or try to take, like, that's not where the power comes from.
I heard Tucker Carlson yesterday say that the only political figure that might have been in any danger was Mike Pence. They were calling for his head.
Oh shit. Well, I mean, and a lot of people make assumptions too, because if the right is calling for the head of Mike Pence, right, and the left is saying we don't want Biden, we want revenge, like there's all kinds of messages that are getting buried.
Well, and let's talk about those 5 people who were killed too.
Yeah,
that's really a misnomer. Okay, one lady was shot and killed by Capitol Police as she attempted to crawl in a window. Okay,
all right.
So I mean, you're down to 4 people who were a victim of the violence, if you will. I mean, she was shot and killed by people who were protecting the Capitol.
I don't have a problem with them shooting her because she was breaking into a secure facility. That's not out of the ordinary for me.
That's right, but
it doesn't break my expectations.
Right. Again, what happened to her was it was a reaction to what she was doing. Okay.
Right.
One person had a stroke and died.
Well, we can't get that.
Right. That's unfortunate, but again,
that's not a thing.
You kind of take that one off.
That comes off the list.
Right. One person had a heart attack and died.
They after being hit with a chair.
No chairs.
There were no chairs.
No, they
punched in the chest.
Nope. They just keeled over and died. Heart attack.
All right. Well, we can't put that one on there either.
No. So we're down to 3.
We're down to 3.
And one of them was an insurrectionist, if you will, getting shot by the cops. So you're
Right.
down to 2.
Yeah, 2 people. Which, look, again, I don't say violence is the answer because it sends the wrong message, bad optics, all kinds of issues with that. I don't know what was supposed to be accomplished by the storming.
Right. That's what labels the label of the insurrection is just crazy because there was no clear goal. You weren't going in there thinking you're taking back the government. Okay, you can't do that.
No,
That's not how government works.
that's exactly right.
Okay, I hate to tell somebody
It's
that.
not King of the Hill. This ain't kindergarten.
Right. So there was no clear goal. Okay, we got to go back. We got to take back we're gonna take back Congress. Listen, the shaman or whatever his name is.
QAnon shaman.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He's a character.
He is a character.
He's still in jail, yeah?
He is. He's on. I forget what kind of fast he's doing right now.
Oh, that's healthy.
It is healthy,
Yes,
but
good for you.
he's become. He has like this mystical quality right now. Not because of the whole shaman thing. It's because he's just keeping his face in the news, I guess. So
Well, he was the face of the insurrection because he was the most outrageous.
right, he was the most outrageous caught on video.
And he's a character that they can glom onto.
Sure.
He's the look at the right wing. This is who they are.
He is basically
Yeah.
what cable news channels, okay, had made
Oh, for sure.
ISIS.
Yeah, right.
Okay, they need a boogeyman.
Oh, yeah.
So now it's the shot. I mean, Trump's just out of the news right now. He's down in Florida enjoying himself.
Well, he's out of the news to their chagrin.
Right. I mean, every now and then you'll see something pop up about the New York district attorney convening a grand jury. Blah blah blah. Who knows? I don't know what they're gonna charge this guy with, but they really do want his head because if they can convict him of a felony, it eliminates any possibility of him running for president again.
That's part of the keys to power is that you have to eliminate you don't leave somebody half wounded on the battlefield.
That's right.
You eliminate them completely. And him being prosecuted for something or potentially being incarcerated would eliminate him being a threat in the future. And he's still a threat. That's the truth.
Right, and it's
They're
right.
still scared of him.
Right, it's his message that is the threat. It's not really him anymore because I don't even think he'd run. But he has enough followers that I think they're afraid of somebody following him coming to power. I think his message resonates so profoundly with a lot of people that they are scared of that. And I mean the institution of the government, they're scared of that.
Yeah.
And that just makes sense. That's not...
And the media, too.
Right.
Although they did profit from that whole show very much.
Oh, absolutely. It led every night.
It did. It was so enthralling that even I overdosed on it, and I really don't like to do that.
Oh, so...
Once the count got all fucked up, I just turned it off. I turned it all off. I'm like, I'm done. I can't anymore.
Yeah, I got... After a couple hours, I did the same thing. And
I'm just saying, from was it September to December, I was like not interested in any politics. Like that was just done. I'm like, I wanted something definitive on election night, and I didn't get it, and I said, fuck it. Oh, pardon my French.
Right. I don't
We're on
think...
YouTube now.
Right. I don't
Gotta
think...
behave.
Yeah, why start now? I don't think we were ever going to get anything definitive. I don't think that was ever in the cards. But what we did is we got a look forward into what we're seeing happening now. Is just this kind of patchwork quilt of a nation going on. I mean, there's just weird things happening, but nothing that is a headliner, which is very odd. There's always something to grab your attention and keep it, and right now there is nothing.
Well, they'll invent something soon. You watch.
I would
I
think
mean,
so.
you would think that the UFO thing would be enough to
I,
like get
I
everybody on their seat. Like, what? How is anybody at the bowling alley when the UFOs are here?
absolutely.
Right? Hours like, oh, it's like 24/7 UFO coverage, but no, nobody really cares. Like
No.
when I say nobody cares, I mean that's exactly it. Like,
Right, I say something to somebody about a UFO footage, and they look at me like I have three heads. You know,
right. Even though the military, the media, the government's like, yeah, these UFOs are a real pain in the ass, and everybody's like, yeah, whatever, I gotta go bowling. And, like,
get my mask.
what's on Netflix? Like, really? Like, I'm surprised as hell.
Yeah,
I'm pretty chill about it because oh, what are you gonna do? They're aliens.
I think it's interesting. Like I said, I just want to find out what's going on.
Yeah, but I mean, all of the distractions. There's still plenty of I think it's just a flood of like little things, and Corona's winding down, and they need it to.
Right.
They need it to. You were saying something about the cases dropping.
Now the cases, COVID cases in the United States have been just plummeting in the last couple of weeks. We're down to an average of right around 16,000 new cases a day throughout the country, which, by the way, is still that's a good bit of people when you realize that 34 million people have already tested positive for this. Which, by the way, and I've said this for years, and I say a year, the danger behind this is not as great as it was made to believe.
I believe that 100%.
34 million people is only 10% of the country, and I did a little bit of math for everybody here. I went down to the state level, and I did 20 states, including Pennsylvania, Florida, California, and the 10% number seems to be a very close approximation of the positive infections for every populous set that I looked at. I thought that was very odd, even down to my own county number, which I thought was very, very, very weird.
Yeah.
My county has 60,000 people in it. 6,000 people have tested positive. That's just crazy. 34 million people out of 340 million people, that's 10%. California is I believe they're just short of the 10%. They're like 9.8, which we all heard about California, for months and months and months, and California's dying, and it really wasn't the case.
Well, no. What do you believe? Like, what do I believe? I think a lot more people had it than knew they had it, and it spread a lot faster, and it was a lot less deadly than most people realized. And it was one of those things that you were never going to get in front of.
Right.
And now we're already behind it, and good old Joe got on the TV and said, "Hey, I mean, this paraphrasing the effective speech is, hey, we're done with masks, enjoy."
Right.
That's what he said. He went from wear 2 masks to no masks.
Right. And Fauci, when asked in front of Congress why he's wearing 2 masks, because he's vaccinated, all of Congress was vaccinated, that was in attendance at the hearing, and he admitted that it was for optics. It was to show the American people that they should be wearing masks.
But it's been bullshit optics from the beginning.
Absolutely.
So
I mean,
And it doesn't sit well with me when there's a whole bunch of kindergarten bullshit. Look what I'm doing. Be proud of me, or
right.
Like, it's if you're outdoors, why are you wearing the mask? We all get it, and those of us that don't really respond well to logic anyway. So.
You said coronavirus is winding down. I hope it's gonna go down and stay down. I do believe that the novel coronavirus, will be an endemic disease. I think it's gonna be here forever. Okay, because I think it's gonna be the flu.
If we have 5 strains already, then why wouldn't it?
Right.
And at the end of the day, are we really inflating the death toll, or is it just it does seem like a really bad flu season? Kind of like exceptionally bad flu season types of deaths. Because I'm not saying nobody died from it.
No, absolutely not.
But I think the whole ventilator, which we're never going to... Until we really dissect the whole thing, once we figure out if the ventilators that they were clamoring for in the beginning were killing people...
Right.
I want to know that for sure. I want to know...
How about I've talked to a nurse.
All right, fire away.
Okay, I've talked to a nurse who is very liberal. very about this disease was real. You should be afraid of it. And she said, in no uncertain terms, that the ventilators were the problem. Putting people on ventilators were killing these people.
Right. And I suspected that, but you've never seen a news story about it.
Why would you?
We just forgot about it. And that's the kind of shit that really irks me.
Right.
Like, all right, we had this big old, how dare you, we need 100 million, we need ventilators now, you loser piece of garbage.
Right.
President, how dare you not be ready? And then the more ventilators you had in your state, the more people died from ventilators.
Right. It was obvious to an outsider looking in, okay, but something that you'll never hear admit it.
Yeah.
That the response was the problem.
It kind of was, wasn't it? And when you get excited, like I don't want to use the word disappointment, right? Because I don't want anybody to die. But I was prepared. When they said, hey, 5 million people in the next couple months are going to die no matter what we do, and so you better behave or more are going to die. We're expecting millions of deaths. We got the Javits Center, and we got hospital ships. Everybody's going to die. You guys are screwed. I was prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything short of that is I don't want to say disappointment,
right, but disappointment's the right word there.
Like you've set the bar so high, and then weeks later we figure out that you know what, it really ain't all that. And once we found out that it wasn't the level of deadliness, and was it contagious? Yes. Was it deadly? No. But we kept acting as if, and that's the problem I had. We needed to adjust our we needed to get people back to work and old people out of the way of the virus. So
right.
Quarantine the old people, get the young people back to work, and I think we would have been better off. And that's what I said back then. So I'm still being consistent. Not that I'm, foreseer. I don't know the future or anything else. But from what I saw of the people who did get it and were like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Every so often you'd run across someone who's, oh, yeah, that was really bad. But, I mean, all throughout the beginning of the pandemic, I'm asking people, so, you know anybody that has it? No. Some people that does. Are they dead now? No, they were sick for a couple days. Like, if it was that bad, you would have had, oh, yeah, my cousin, my brother,
it was
my grandmother's dead. Like, nobody was dying.
It was 6 months before I knew anybody who had it.
Yeah.
Okay? And it was another 8 months. It was 8 months until I've heard of the first person that I can, to remove from myself that had died from it.
Yeah. And my son had it, and he had almost zero symptoms, and he's like, this is what it was all about. This is it. That was it. And everybody got wound up.
Right, because you were made to get wound up about it.
Sure.
Okay, that was their way of keeping you in check. Don't go outside. Okay.
Don't go to the beach.
Listen, if you look like me, I'm not going to the beach anyway.
Did you see the crime scene tape on the playgrounds? I mean,
oh, that was priceless.
Really?
Them filling.
I'm shaking my head as I drive past. I'm like, people are so dumb.
Them filling the skateboard park on Santa Monica Pier,
right,
with sand,
turning it into a dirt bike track.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't worry, they'll figure it out. And even our local, they covered up the Centralia Highway.
Oh, right, because they were afraid of people congregating.
No, they weren't afraid. They were congregating. There was tons of people. It was great. They had four-wheelers and dirt bikes and wheelies and jumps.
Oh, yeah?
And they were going because everything else was locked down.
Right.
And all the locals went up there, and they were like, oh, we can't have that. They're just going to spread everywhere. And you know what? You can't control that shit. And
no.
That's the problem that they don't understand is when it first happened and everybody's like, we're quarantining. I'm like, the first thing that I said was, how are they going to enforce that? That's not a law. You can't keep him in my house. Like, that's not a thing.
And it was funny that there was so much fake news around the quarantining part that it was actually a little scary at first. Like, I heard reports of the National Guard guarding roads outside of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Knoxville's, like, they're shutting down Knoxville? And then I heard National Guard reports they're just blocking the routes out of Tennessee, altogether. Or now they're in West Virginia, they're heading north. The National Guard is, and they're gonna block it. Right, like this is crazy. After about 4 or 5 days of that, I've talked to people not in this state, and they said, "No, Bill, that's bullshit. Nobody's around."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting how that made the rounds.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers that part of it. That was a year ago.
From the beginning, I was way more concerned about the people and their reaction to the news and the hype than I was about the virus. That's honest truth from the beginning. The people's response was way scarier than, and it really wasn't that bad. I mean, we had toilet paper and some, it wasn't that, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Right, yeah, you couldn't get Lysol wipes for a while.
Yeah, you could buy sober, yeah. Yeah, hand sanitizer was ungettable.
Right. I actually bought some up from a distillery.
But what's amazing is the amount of time it took them to get to the point of, well, you don't need to. Remember they were doing the mail, like
you had to leave it,
sanitize your mail.
Let your Amazon boxes outside for 3 days.
Amazon boxes needed to be sitting in the rain for a couple days.
Right.
And I was just shaking my head back then too. I'm like, I don't know.
It wasn't for that lasted months until people. Oh, hey, you know what? We misjudged that. The testing we used is false. It's like, oh, okay, thanks.
I hope people take a good look back at the year 2019 to 2021 and a half, and just dissect how effective the government and the CDC and all of these groups are at A, their job, and B, communication. Because communication was a big F on this whole thing from start to finish. You don't wear a mask, you wear a mask. Nothing's going to get you. You're going to die in 2 minutes. Like, it was so all over the place. There was no real, like, you remember the guy on the news. He did his job. He's like, are you sure? Because people are listening. That's what he said when Fauci said no mask is necessary. He's like, are you sure? Because we got people listening here. You sure about? Oh yeah, and he's all like, he
actually downplayed it.
Yeah, he's don't be
Trump.
Stupid.
Right.
That was his attitude. Is don't be dumb, guys. Right. Don't wear a mask. You're a fucking idiot.
And then he comes out after all the mask declarations, and he says, you know what? I actually meant that you should be wearing a mask the whole time, but if I would have said that, there would have been panic.
Well, there wouldn't have been. There would have been panic buying.
You lied.
He obviously lied, and why that's okay still now? Why he's still in charge of being like? Why he's making any kind of policies or advice or anything? I don't know why we trust him. I don't.
No one does except the people there in the White House. No, he's the only one.
Well, if you wanna taint your message, let that guy talk for you.
Right, but then again, what's our recourse really? What, are we gonna hire somebody else to talk for him? No, not gonna happen.
Well, my recourse is to do whatever I want.
Right.
Because what I'm hearing is bullshit.
You're gonna do that to a point. But like I said all along, even the strongest people who came out against it, and I was probably one of them. I would just not go into places. Told me how to wear a mask. I still haven't set foot in Walmart.
It's fine. Like,
I'm fine with that. But then I complied to a point when they said I had to wear a mask to go into a restaurant. Knowing how stupid it was, I wore a gaiter. Okay? It does nothing. Okay? It has a funny face on it.
The restaurant thing is an extra kind of dumb because you wear it to walk in but not to sit down.
Right. Well, we all know that COVID only affects you at like 6 foot level.
And then I guess the whole idea of curfews was because after 10, people get a little tipsy and just all hug each other and dance, go crazy and party or something.
What bars are you going to? I don't think that actually happens.
I don't want to get them in trouble. No, it was
they're closing. Oh,
no, there was certainly like was it March, April, May of last year. There were places you could go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that were sort of open to.
That kind of stuff.
It was fun. There was things going on. It was okay, but everybody there had kind of figured, what, who gives a shit at that point?
Right.
And that's the thing is, if this was as deadly as they said it was, nobody would be out partying. have a shotgun pointed at the
Oh,
door.
absolutely.
Don't you
And
come in here, Mr. Package Man.
You've been saying that. You've been saying that for months.
If it was deadly enough, you wouldn't have to tell us to stay in.
That's true.
Yeah.
But even with all the stuff being dropped, all the mask mandates, all and what have you, and I will say there are several companies that are hanging on to those mandates by dear life.
They want to chase me through the store. Go ahead.
I don't get it.
At this point, that's where I'm at this point. It's like I personally have been vaccinated.
I personally have been also.
Only because I wanted to do some international travel.
And that's it. There were certain travel places that I wanted to go, and I knew. And so here's the thing.
Yeah.
I know from watching history that vaccine passports will be a real thing.
Well, it's already a real thing. If
Absolutely.
you go to certain countries, you need
you need proof.
If Germany says you can't come here unless you're vaccinated, that's a rule you have to comply with or screw off.
As much as Biden sits there and goes, we're not going to have vaccine passports, bullshit. Yeah. Companies can do what they want. Disney World being a huge one.
Your school.
Absolutely. They're going to mandate it.
As soon as it's okay for kids of whatever age, they're going to mandate that.
Absolutely. They've already done it with 12-year-olds.
Well, I don't know if it's mandated locally.
It's not mandated yet.
But it is available for them.
But it will be.
It's not the Moderna. It's the Pfizer one?
Pfizer's down to 12. Moderna's at 15 yet, I think.
Well, whatever. All I can tell you is kids that age don't seem to really be having an issue with it.
No.
For whatever reason.
But I will say that the local school boards are covering their asses. Our local school board that I watched a meeting of when they decided to go back in person, thanks to Biden, I guess maybe. They said that all of the instances of the coronavirus cases, the COVID-19 cases, they traced back to non-school functions. That is some kick-ass contact tracing right there. They actually said that in a Zoom meeting that I listened to personally. To which I replied, bullshit, and was knocked off the thing.
That sounds about right.
As soon as I typed bullshit, I was gone. It's like, what? What happened? The feed went dead. Oh, wait. Hold on. I was kicked out.
Yeah, you were kicked out.
I couldn't help myself, though.
No, you can't. You can't help yourself.
I don't have that ability, I think, say...
It's something to work on. We all need to grow.
That knee-jerk reaction. I have to stop the knee-jerk reaction.
Exactly. It's not good for anybody.
It's not, but it's a lot of fun sometimes.
It's satisfying at the time,
absolutely.
But in retrospect, not constructive.
But with all the lowering of the restrictions, if you will, I ran across this article, which I thought was kind of funny. Even vaccinated workers in California may have to keep their masks on.
Sounds fun. Apparently,
the California OSHA, if you will, is considering new workplace rules that would allow workers to go maskless if everyone in the room is fully vaccinated, regardless of who they are. It is
passports then, huh?
Yep, okay. That's exactly right. All right. The rules could remain in place into early next year, even though cases have fallen dramatically in the state after a severe winter spike and as more people get vaccinated.
When can we treat California like a foreign country? The country of California.
I've been doing that for months.
The country of California. In California, that country is like that's how we need to phrase these things.
Right. They are a special brand of stupid out there, aren't they?
When people are fleeing the state, and that's not up for debate now. Those are statistics that have been released, and people are fleeing the state because of oppression. And I've been to California many, many times. I mean, the weather is amazing. The terrain, I don't like LA, but the mountains and the Napa and the redwood forest and the beaches. I mean, it's a really great place geographically. I mean, minus the mudslides and the earthquakes and the wildfires. But that aside, I mean, it's a really lovely place. If they just
are you on their marketing department?
I am not a part of the welcoming committee there, okay. But no, I've been there many times. They got stuff to offer, but at this point, with their homeless problem, with their politics, with their policing problem, I want no part of California at this point.
Several big companies, several big conglomerates have already moved out of that state, and I would believe they will stay out of that state because of what
Do you think Tesla was bullshitting, or you think they're leaving?
Oh no, they're leaving.
They're leaving. Huh?
They're leaving. Yeah,
All right.
that's my prediction right away.
When they come in and they're like, you can't work, and they're like, fuck you, we're working, and they're like, oh, we'll see about that shit, and they're like, we're leaving.
We'll see you
we
in
don't
Montana.
Want you here. Like, that's about right. I got it all correct, didn't I? Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds about how that whole thing went.
Yeah. See, the government of California is going to go into Tesla and say this, and Elon Musk is going to go, yeah, about that. I don't care.
A lot of these municipalities and whatnot in the state, they're like, you can't leave, and if you do, you owe us money.
Mm-hmm.
Go fuck yourself.
And that's exactly what they're talking to the wrong people. What they should be is talking to me and you, because that would hurt us. They would fine us, and that would hurt us. But they're talking to companies that are going to say, yeah, about that, no. They're going to bring it. They're going to bring 10,000 jobs into Iowa, and Iowa's going to say, hey, we'll pay that fine for you. We got you.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. So in any case, enough about coronavirus. And I did not think at this point, we're 5 months into the year now, okay, that I would say, okay, enough about coronavirus, because I've been yammering about this since a long time now.
It's been a year and a half. No, it hasn't been a year and a half. It's been about a full freaking year.
Yep.
Plus a little bit of coronavirus talk.
And if it wasn't coronavirus, it's the White House. And, again, Trump being in the White House was great for people like me, because it gave me something to talk about every single day.
Yeah, he was a gold mine on that front.
He was. But he was a narcissistic jackass, and, well, you can't have it.
He knew how to not turn it off long enough to lose an election, I can tell you that.
Right.
Like, dude, why you already won. Why are you ruining it? But there you go.
Some more news to look into.
A side note, at some point we should look back at the old episodes back in the day and like see our attitudes in real time of the coronavirus, like when the boats are, in the Javits Center, like
right,
like just to refresh my memory. Like, I don't think I'm not making this stuff up.
we all minimized the response
because we observed,
right, and that was the key to everything.
Yeah.
You sit back, and you may not have an iron in the fire, you may not have a reason to look at it, but that's what makes you an impartial observer.
Yeah.
You don't care. You're looking at it and saying, okay, that's wrong.
Yeah, I'm looking at stuff and it not adding up.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, well, the Vice President Harris, or new President Harris, sooner or later, I guess, maybe.
Diversity Hire-in-Chief.
Oh,
Look,
I like that.
That's how that is. I mean, she was picked because she was a woman, and she was picked because she was a woman of color.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
That was a statement of fact from the from the campaign.
Right.
So there's really no argument there.
Right after she called Biden the biggest racist.
Well, she wasn't wrong.
She wasn't wrong.
But she did dial it back a bit.
She did.
She did. She brought that back.
But she was just asked to take the lead on voting rights, and apparently Biden sees it as the next chapter of his presidency is to make sure we all have the same right to vote.
Do we not currently have
the
same?
We currently have all the same right to vote.
I didn't realize. Look, obviously we're two white guys, and I can't explain.
I'm white?
You're more white than I am, and I'm pretty darn white. I can't say what happens to people of color when they approach a voting booth or voting. Like, I've witnessed in my township people of color waltzing in and waltzing out.
Same here.
All right, so was that particular person of color dressed very flamboyantly? Yes. But I know that person, and that's who she is. And everybody was cool with it. Mm-hmm. Nobody was questioning her at all, and she plopped her ID down, as we all should. As we all should. And she was in, she was out, she was happy to be there, and I was happy she was there. So when I hear about voter suppression, I have to imagine that it's an inner city problem where all the Democrats are in charge and they're keeping the blacks from voting. Or am I missing something? Where's the suppression?
Right. See, the problem is you're not
I don't.
seeing
I'm
it.
not seeing it. That's
Right.
my problem.
Right.
I want to see it.
I-
Tell me
I-
where I can see that.
Right. And I will agree with you on this. There is no obvious to us. I mean, I look at news outlets all the time. There's no obvious issue with voting. Okay? As far as who's allowed to vote and who's not allowed. We're all allowed to vote. Okay?
Dead people are allowed to vote. Apparently.
Apparently, it happens more often than you might think, and we're all okay with that.
Well, we have to be. I
Well,
guess.
we're told we have to be. Yes. So this notion that we have to fix the voting system. The only thing that has to be fixed is the integrity of the voting system.
Well, that's gonna fix this whole country is integrity and honesty. That's
So-
what I preach these days.
So
If
the
we can-
country's screwed.
until something bad enough happens that there's a reset, or until things like I believe things are gonna fall apart to a point where things are just fundamentally broken, and then a certain amount of people are gonna pick it up and put it back together. And I don't know what that looks like, but I see the glue of society coming apart.
Do you see that currently though?
I see that currently on
'Cause
a
I had-
large scale,
I
not
had
on a
s-
not in the small town sense, but overall, I see just the lack of. We accept the lack of integrity as normal, and that's not a recipe for success.
I had said that a couple weeks to you, a couple weeks ago to you, and you had said that that wasn't the case. You said this country is not going down. We're not going to break apart. Thinking that we are is just kind of foolish because no one's going to raise a gun. That kind of thing. I remember. Do you remember that discussion we had?
I don't think anybody's going to start. I don't think we're headed for a civil war.
Right.
I don't think anything's happening this week, next month, next year. I don't think anything's going to happen this quickly. But I think over the next decade or so, I think you're seeing a gradual decline of the the family, right, is what society is built on.
Okay.
And the family is being attacked and pulled apart, and marriage rates are down and births are down. Like, it's one of those things that, a generation from now, we're going to find the full effects of what we were up to, what the attitudes, what the liberal values would bring us. And I don't think it looks pretty. And look, if every town is erupting in riots, then I'm wrong. But if I'm wrong, then we're way better. We're way off worse shape than I thought. But I don't think we're going to civil war anytime soon. I'm not buying guns and ammo.
No.
I'm not stocking.
You
up
might
on-
be the only one, actually.
I'm probably the only one that's not buying guns and ammo. But
I don't own any guns, and I have people coming up to me on a weekly basis asking me where they can get ammo because they need more.
well,
I-
I would
I
suggest
must-
you have a gun. I'm just saying. I don't think you need 20 of them, but
I must know some weird people.
yeah, well, I wouldn't doubt that. I think everybody should own a weapon, and they should know how to use it, and they should put it away for a rainy day. And rainy days come here and there, and you take care of business. But have a pistol, have a shotgun, have a rifle, and then learn how to use them, and then put them away. And unless you're a hunter or whatever.
Well,
But-
in the effort to make sure we're covering some news from the world too.
Oh, the world news.
The world news.
Tell me about China.
Nobody knows about China. Portugal was part of what's known as the UK Green List. That was the number of countries that you could go to safely from United Kingdom, and people could come from there, into UK. But they've been removed, and I believe 8 countries have now been added as at risk because of coronavirus.
So
overseas,
obviously, US
this is
on
going
that list.
this is going crazy.
Hold on a second. Is Canada still on lockdown?
They were, yes, they were as of 2 weeks ago.
I haven't heard, but I hear people in Toronto are about ready to revolt and shit.
Well, they can't come to Detroit or wherever they go. I don't understand. Like they showed. I was watching some news footage of neighbors in Canada and the U.S. that are separated by a yard,
Right.
and there is the people in charge, the security, the police, whatever it is, they have actually put concrete barriers in the yards.
Well, that worked for West Berlin. So.
Okay, here's the thing: the concrete barriers are about a foot high.
Well, that's not West Berlin.
They're parking things. That's it. It's like, what is that doing?
Look, if you want to jump that concrete barrier, you've really crossed the line there. I don't know.
But have you heard anything about the migrants on their way up from Central America or South America lately?
I haven't. I know that there's a metric buttload of people coming across the border, and it's starting to be a real crisis down there. And I haven't seen a lot of I guess since I don't watch the news that much, I shouldn't see it. But
right.
I haven't heard the tricklings of the whatchamacallit, the border crisis, which they're not calling it that. But
they're not.
But now it's way worse than it ever's been.
Right.
And I guess Texas. No, yeah, I did hear Texas declared an emergency.
Yes.
Critical. State? Not a state of emergency. Maybe state of emergency.
I think so. Yes.
Declared a disaster. Something to that effect. That they're being overrun and they need help and things are falling apart. So something. Save Texas.
Right. Well,
how true that is, I don't know. But
the lady,
that's what I hear.
The lady who they just put in charge of voting rights,
right.
Harris. Before that, she was in charge of the border crisis.
Kamala.
So apparently, she's already solved the border crisis and moved on.
That was fast.
Apparently.
Did she tell him to go home, or did she say, "Come on in"? Like, what's the policy right now?
They're not releasing policy details.
Oh, details.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
In other world news, nothing's going on. We have a bunch of Israelis mad at Palestinians again. Okay, big shocker there. And then of course that creates its own little political, upheaval here in the United States because a lot of people in charge think we should be backing it, Israel, and then you have some Palestinians who think this and that, and it's always been a problem over there. It will always be a problem over there.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot we don't understand about the intricacies. Like when I see Hamas, a terrorist organization, having a victory parade on the Gaza Strip, I can only assume that's bad optics for somebody. I don't know who. So right and wrong and up and down over there, I don't particularly claim to understand all of the scenario other than everybody wants Palestine to be a state and Israel's like, screw that. They just send missiles our way.
Right.
And I haven't dug a deep enough hole and put myself in it to figure out all of that.
Well, at one point you have people in Israel saying that they'll be okay with Palestine being its own state, but they have to obviously abide by certain rules. Palestine says no, we don't want that, and it's just been a shit show ever since. And that was the 80s. Now you have this renewed conflict, and they don't really. It's not Israel because of their technology is not really a match for anybody. They just stampede over everybody. So messing with Israel is just kind of stupid. No, that's really freaking stupid. Messing with them is just dumb because they have a technological edge that nobody else can even touch. But I found it kind of odd that it was reported yesterday that $235 million of Hamas's money was freed up by Biden. So guess what? When you give terrorists money, you're going to get terrorism. Don't tell anybody. It's a secret.
Maybe. It's all about, friends and allies and all that. Like, it's the world stage and power and manipulation and it's all those things combined that make the whole story as crazy as it is.
And it's beyond crazy.
I mean, I've seen some things I don't know if this girl who's clamoring about her dead family, like, is that fake? Is it real? I don't know anymore.
Right, you don't know.
It's like the optics from the people you don't trust. To give you the truth, you can't, like, it looks horrible, but is it real? So
That.
am I being lied to yet again by?
And see, that's the point where it wouldn't be that shocking.
And the Israelis use people as well. They're very
Oh, absolutely.
good.
Oh,
They manipulate our media to do stuff to make other people look bad. Like, it's on both sides. Like,
absolutely.
the media manipulation is fact.
There's a huge Israeli influence in the media in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll never see an anti-Israeli stance on any media outlet.
That reminds me of something.
Eh.
Did you see the video of, what's his name, John Cena? He's like a wrestler dude,
Okay.
actor,
Okay.
apologizing to China for calling Taiwan a state in Chinese.
No.
When we're done here, you got to watch that. It is hilarious. John Cena. Yeah, from what I understand, he's an actor / wrestler person.
Yeah,
but,
whatever.
I'm sure he's popular somewhere.
I'm sure he is.
But it's one of those things where you have such, like an NBA player, like
right.
They have to toe the line and capitulate to these stupid things because China's such a big market, and one day we're gonna look back and it's gonna look really awful.
Okay.
It's gonna age like milk.
These NBA players that take these social justice platforms, please jump off that platform into a lake of lava. Okay?
Or
Stop.
don't complain about the ratings tanking.
Right.
I mean, you can do it. Like, you can take the knee on the field. Some people aren't going to understand what you're doing, and it's not going to go well. Maybe NFL should not be a political platform. Maybe we just want to watch people throw a ball.
That's right. That's what we do.
I get that you're having issues, but that might not be... Like, go march in the streets somewhere else and say your message, and that's great. But on the field, if you get fired, I'm cool with that. Like, if that's not what's allowed, then fine. If the NBA wants to allow that, then go good. But don't complain about the ratings.
Exactly. Exactly. Your ratings go down. Oh, we can't understand. Well, I'll give you a 5-minute synopsis. Why? You people are idiots.
Oh, and that reminds me of another thing.
Okay.
The Asian hate thing. I still haven't wrapped my head around that one.
Okay,
yet.
I think that's gone by the wayside now.
Oh, I still hear it all the time.
Oh, okay.
Stop Asian hate. Stop. Who's hating Asians and for what?
Right. I don't.
Is it really just the Corona thing? Because it doesn't make sense that Asians that live in America would be responsible for the Chinese virus from China. But that being said, people are idiots, and from what I've understood, certain people of color are the culprits that we're not allowed to talk about of this particular Asian hate that we're supposed to stop. So catch 22 on that one, because you can't tell the people of color what to do.
Right, because you'll be hating them then, and that's
so
racist.
It's just this blanket weird message that I'm not understanding, and I really need to spend some more time diving into the Asian hate problem because I want to understand it. Because I don't understand what's going on. Is it just the media and the government going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because one black guy beat up a Chinese person and caught on video?
Okay,
like,
listen. One black guy beat up a Chinese person, but shot 7 white ladies. I don't think that's an issue, right?
I don't know. Again, it's one of those things that doesn't make sense, and I scratch my head. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like, it doesn't... Again, I don't see it. And I know that the world is bigger than what I can see, but I look around and I'm like, where's the hate? And I'd like to see some videos and some documentaries on the hate, and I don't see any of those. Like, from what I've seen currently, it's the... they made a bad joke and it hurt my feelings. And that's not something that really needs a whole movement behind it.
Okay. I just looked this up again because I remember saying this stat before. The Asian hate crimes, just in 2021, have increased by 223%.
So 8 people instead of
13 to 42.
Right. All right. Never mind then. Never mind. All right.
I knew I saw this.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew I saw the 223% sounds like a huge amount.
Skyrocketing. Right. It's skyrocketing epidemic.
42 victims of Asian hate. Okay. But
all right.
They lead with the 223%.
Right.
And that again,
That's the fundamental dishonesty that we're discussing here tonight.
Right. That's exactly right.
That's what our show should be called.
The fundamental
deduction of fundamental dishonesty.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's just
but
disgusting.
Here's just the ridiculousness of this whole thing is I'm looking at 3 headlines from 3 major news outlets.
Yeah.
Okay. And I have these numbers: 223%, 150%, and 169%.
And in context that you described, it's statistically insignificant.
Correct.
So that's what I'm talking about. When I don't trust the media, there is a valid reason, because all of this crap that I hear is in fact crap.
San Francisco had a 169% surge in Asian hate crime from 5 to 12.
Sounds legit.
Okay? This is the stuff that we see.
I'm not minimalizing people's hard times and stress and all this, but the numbers
that's
aren't...
fundamental dishonesty.
It's not a national crisis that needs a whole movement. It's fake, phony BS.
This is the even better one. In New York City, from 2019 to 2021, okay, an 833% increase. That is a huge headline right there. 3 to 28. It's 833%. It sure is. I just did the math.
Well, I mean, yes, it's been multiplied several times. Again, not statistically. For me to like, we're not making policy for a handful of people. But in my opinion,
right? No, but we are though, and I think that's an issue. We are making policy for a handful of people. Okay?
The people who are the loudest, the people who... There's been that whole Hitler logo thing.
Oh, my God.
There was 5 people that complained, and the company changed the logo, Amazon.
Right.
Like, we've really gone off the deep end in some places. And anybody says anything Hitler, anything, hate, or any... People, they just fold, and it's not good. People need a stronger spine and say, hey, we had no intention of making this look like Hitler. We don't believe it looks like Hitler. This Hitler mustache on our van doesn't remind me of Hitler. You guys are nutty. We're going to just ignore you. But they can't now, because as soon as everything goes viral these days, it's all over.
Right.
And when so much money's on the table.
When you said about kowtowing to a handful of people, you look again. You just loop that back around to COVID. Okay, 10%. Okay, of the population has tested positive. Okay, 10%, and we are talking about 100% mask mandates, 100% social distancing, 100%. It's not doing anything.
If 10% was the amount of people of the country that were dying from the disease,
absolutely,
we'd have a different argument.
You're absolutely right. I'd be the first one doing it.
I would be barricaded in my house saying, "Don't come near me."
Absolutely right.
But when we found out that wasn't the case, and we're still acting as if it was the case, that's where I have a problem.
Right, and they, at the current rates, okay, you're looking at about 3-ish%, okay, of death rates. But
3%.
3%, right? And
no, I think it's lower than that.
Nationwide, since the beginning of the pandemic, it's 3%.
You're counting the ventilator problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah, because that was a huge jump in numbers.
Yeah, it was.
Only since then have actually the mortality rates have actually decreased.
It was the ventilators and the old folks' homes.
Because we need more time and more cases to actually bring that mortality rate down. I see,
right.
Because I've been saying
that's still fundamentally dishonest, because I've had it and nobody knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
I know lots of people that got it and didn't get officially checked out
right.
and tested.
I know somebody who had it and they're sure they had it. They had all the symptoms, all the symptoms,
taste and all that,
and they refused to get tested because they didn't want to be a number. Okay.
So take that number and drop it down a bit, because
right.
the official number is still a lie, because you're never going to know everybody, and that's what I said from the beginning. So you take the numbers of people that have it and haven't done anything about it, and it just came and went. Like that's...
and like this person said to me, what point is it to get tested? What
Right.
point is it? It serves no purpose. Okay?
Well,
Unless
morbid curiosity, I guess.
I
but-
guess, maybe, unless you're in a hospital and they want to know what you're dying from. Okay, but we've already discussed that it's such a low percentage.
I got
okay.
tested just the other day.
Oh, yeah?
I was going on vacation with some friends who were a little bit left of center,
Oh, okay.
and they wanted. And at this, see, and that's the thing, is this was I agreed to get tested before the vacation as a courtesy to make them comfortable,
Uh-huh.
and they were happy about that. And then by the time that we were actually going, and Biden's like, "Yeah, we don't need these freaking things anyway." They dropped their whole shtick and they're like, "Party," and they were like, "Oh, you got tested for what?" Like,
You
for
tried to
nothing,
make
apparently.
you're right. You tried to make them
tried to
at
make them
ease.
comfortable and at ease, and they ended up not giving a crap.
But and you see that repeatedly, the number of people who are sticking to them, to this. I mean, again, this isn't going anywhere. It's going to be pretty much endemic, I believe, like all
It's
viruses
here to
are.
stay, for sure. Because the fundamental.
I think the fear is now gone because Biden and the executive, the people in power are saying, okay, the fear's gone.
If Trump was still in power and Trump was like, "We don't need these damn things," you know how many people
He
would
did that.
dig their heels in?
Right.
You know how many people would dig? We'd still have everything would be like,
Absolutely.
You better wear a mask or else, and screw that guy.
And,
Biden says it, and everybody's like, "All right, great, it's finally."
okay, so
Love it.
here's my prediction, though.
Oh, prediction time.
Yeah, prediction
Mark
time.
this down.
Well,
Let me get my
it's
notepad.
just about time to wrap up the episode.
Yeah.
But
Good episode.
my right, I believe so. My prediction is this: is by the fall and late fall, early winter, we will be back having mask mandates.
Ooh, really? For
Yes, I believe that was a test to see how many people would capitulate or do what they're told, and I think we're gonna have that back. It's already been said that this may be happening. Okay.
what? I don't like
They've
that at
they've
all.
snuck that in the conversations from here and there, but I believe by I'd say November 1st.
November 1st.
November 1st, mask mandates will be back in effect in certain municipalities, if not all states.
I'm not down with that.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
not
not down with it either, but that's my prediction.
If you're fully vaccinated and they have said, "Hey, you're not a danger to anybody," how are they going to roll that back? How are they going to roll that back? Oh,
Did
the
he-
vaccine is only good for 6 months.
That's what they're putting on the cards.
Is that the deal? Because why would I get a vaccine?
That's only good for 6 months.
Logically, I've had the virus.
Uh-huh.
I've gotten over it. Right? I've had the vaccine. The second dose knocked me on my ass. That was no fun. A couple of days of like feeling like crap.
Mhm.
Whatever. I don't care. If the vaccine is good for a couple of weeks or only for this strain but not that strain, it's going to be like the flu vaccine
Right.
that I don't take anyway,
Right.
or the pneumonia vaccine, which I don't take anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard sell, buddy. That's a hard sell.
You're right, but that's where we're heading. We're heading right to there. I believe it was Moderna actually asked the CDC or this FDA today for full approval for their COVID vaccine, which means of one thing's going to happen is Moderna is going to go from a free vaccine to you're going to have to pay for it. Insurances will pay for this. I guarantee it.
Well, good luck.
Yep.
I'm not getting it again. I've already got it.
Oh, you're getting it again
I'm
if
not
you're going to
getting
want
it
to do
again.
things. This will be an ongoing thing. Okay. Well, sorry to bring you down, but that's what's going to happen. That's Mr. Conspiracy
I'm gonna
Theory
kill
talking.
Grandma if I don't do it. Grandma's already dead.
Uh-oh, that's a problem. Okay, well, in any case, a good episode. I believe we're going to move forward. I think we're going to start streaming on YouTube. I will post all the links in the appropriate groups so that you can follow us. Feel free to hit us up, talk to us. If you have any questions, post it in the threads. I read them every day. So,
Yep.
have a good night, guys. Thank you.
Peace out.